Hey everybody, this is Brett, and this is our day three summary. We met this morning and had some really good discussions and some good epiphanies, and I had a great time. Sad if you missed it. What are we going to do now? Well, I'm going to go through the next level. So on day one, we learned how to create scenes. On day two, we talked a little bit about how do we polish them up using some of the resources that are available to you with the timeline and the chapters and the characters. So what happens next? Well, let me share my screen and we will jump into this. Excuse me. Here's what we're going to cover in this video. We're going to review your homework just for a second. We're going to talk about a new feature. I got so excited about something that happened in class yesterday. I stayed up half the night coding a new feature. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the coaches that are there to help you. And then where do we go from there? So homework was creating characters, adding information about them so your stories have more context. Same with the timeline, the book builder. When we were in the book builder, what happened, and let me just show you right here. Whoops, let me get to the right screen. When we're in here, let me just create a new book. We'll call this one Day 3 Demo. It's a LifeSketch. We're going to create this. When we open this up and you want to actually start creating your chapters, in the past, you just had to manually create these chapters one at a time. You click it, you go ahead and you write the details and you add it. And then from there, you can put your scenes in there. But what we're going to do is you now have a new option, and that is to use templates. And I've created three already, and I already have three more that I want to create. But these are templates that is going to be a shortcut for you. So it just lays out the book in, I would say, a stereotypical, really good way. So, for example, there's a classic memoir arc, and it has 10 chapters. And by default, it's just going to put all those things in there for you. There's also a short form starter book. This would be a great place to start, where it's going to give you some focuses. And then since I've been working with a couple clients on how do we really create a business book, and we've created some lessons for that, it made sense for us to go ahead and create a template that aligns with those lessons, that goes through all of the different steps in your story for that, and it breaks them up into chapters. But friends, most of us are here about writing an autobiography or a memoir. Let's just pick this one. You just click it, click apply template, and what it does is it just automatically creates all of those chapters for you. And in each one, what I've done is I've added one chapter note. So if you remember, when we're in here, you can actually add scenes. You can add event summaries. So events that are extracted, you can say, hey, I want to make sure I write about this event. So you can put it in there as a placeholder. And yesterday I was calling them custom, I think it was custom text. I've gone ahead and renamed those to chapter notes. I think chapter notes is a better term. So you can create a chapter note. And that's all that this is it's a chapter note with a little bit of information about what it is that you're going to put in there. Now, again, chapter notes are great because when you're building your your book out, you realize, you know what? I might need to have some notes. I'm not going to get this all at once. And how cool would it be if I can put some notes in this spine that I've created? In the end, I might delete this before I print it or export it. But for now, it gives me some placeholders to do some things. So the writing notes, each of them have those in there to start off with. So I wanted to show that to you guys because I think it's pretty cool. I've been thinking about maybe even making it so you can create your own templates and save them. So that will be a future feature, I hope. But for now, we've got a couple of these here for you. And you can see here, once you have any chapters created, that option disappears. So for example, if I create a new book, this one we'll just call it Day 3 Demo 2. And I create this book and I go in here, I go to my book builder here, my book builder here. I have all these options, but as soon as I create my first chapter, chapter 1, my story begins, then that option, well, that's interesting. Let's do a little fine tuning here. See why that didn't work. Hopefully, by adding in new things, demo chapter. You gonna fail on me again? Okay. Not sure why it failed there. Looks like it worked that time. Those are the bugs that we're working on. This is still in beta. So now you've got that chapter, and what you can see here is those options are gone. If I delete this and there's no chapters, then all of a sudden I have that option again and I can put in the template. Now, once you put that template in there, right, if I go ahead and create that and I apply it, then these are just as if I manually made them. So you can delete these, you can rearrange them, you can change. You might decide, you know, I don't need all this stuff. I only need 4 of them. You can add new things. It's just to help you save time. So that's what that's for. So that's what this note's about right here. Oh, the one thing that I haven't discussed yet, with your homework, and some of you have already done this, we are going to be using the Facebook group more and more for those of you who continue on this journey beyond this class. And so I gave everyone the opportunity to go in there today. And I look in here, you can see I already had a couple people take me up on it. So you can go in here. I would love for you guys to make sure you're in this group and go ahead and leave some feedback, right? Today it was like, leave some feedback. And here's one from Joanne. I'm excited to learn how to use this to write my life story. Nothing is more supportive than having an awesome mom. And I got an awesome mom, and that's my mom. And if you're lucky, you know her. Sarah says, LifeSketch is amazing. It's been so fun to start working on my life story. Thank you, Brett. And Crowther earlier today during class, she said, I have loved using LifeSketch. So I would encourage you guys not to pat me on the back, because I'm not looking for that. What I'm looking for is for your feedback. What works? What could be better? What did you like? What was your epiphanies? This is a crowdsourcing opportunity for you guys as classmates to be able to go in here and provide some feedback and also give me a little bit of lessons learned so we can make this tool better and better. All right, so next thing. In this session, we want to talk about 2 coaches. There are 2 coaches that can help you really take your writing to the next level. One of them is a scene coach. We call him Coach Reed. And the other one is Coach Orion. And he is more of the book level coach. So let me introduce you to both of these and when you would use them. And you can start using them right away, or you might just stuff that in your pocket so you can use it later. So let's go into, let me see if I have a book that actually has some content in it. It seems like this one, we might have some scenes. Nope, no scenes yet there. Okay, this is what happens with demo accounts, but I do think we have a scene or 2 in this one. Yep, so we got 3 variations of a story that we put together with my son, Calder, when he was a river raft guide in Moab. He does that every summer, and he has some amazing experiences. So I let him test the tool out, and he told the story, and it built this storyline right here. So let's say with these 3 iterations, we find one that we really like. We're gonna say this was the one we like the best. Now, what do I want to do here? I want to say, okay, as you already know, I can refine it. And have some more conversations and make it a little better. Oh yeah, in class today, we were messing around with the bilingual stuff. But then we also can regenerate it. Say, you know what, I want to start from scratch, or I want to refine it. All those things that we worked on yesterday, the day before. But what you've got now here is you'll see there's a Coach Read option. And he's also available over in the resources. You can just go to the writing coach anytime you want, and you can get a coaching session. It's kind of like you have that college professor who has office hours and you can go in and talk to him. But Coach Reed is the ultimate scene developer. He's like the playmaker. How do you make the best scenes? So what you can see here is I have already done that. He has given us some coaching insights. If I hadn't done that, there wouldn't be anything here yet. But I can say get fresh coaching, and he's going to look at all of the stuff that I've got. And he's going to give me some feedback, just generally all around. But the other option is we can have him focus on specific scenes. So I can go in here and I can have him pick, and here's the problem, which one is the right one? I might have to go rename these so I can see which was the one I like the best. But I can click one of those and he'll analyze it. I click this and he'll analyze it. Now that's the manual way to go and do that. What you'll notice is that when I was in that source, or I'm sorry, when I was in my scene library, or is that not scene library? I'm actually in this. I can just click Coach Read. And if I click Coach Read, it's basically taking me right into that writing coach, picking that specific scene and saying, hey, let me analyze that for you. And here it is. I'm so impressed by how you've captured the vibrant energy of the river. Your ability to set the scene is really coming together. Keep it up. So he's going to give me some feedback. Oh, what an exhilarating scene. he also makes you feel pretty good about yourself, and that's nice. But then he's going to go in here and also say, you know what? In addition to what's working, here's some areas that you could develop. And at the bottom, you're going to get another writing prompt. He's going to give you something to work on. And instead of giving you 17 things to work on, I said, look, coach, only give him one thing at a time. So you're just going to get one thing that you can work on, and you click that, and you can work on that. And that's going to help you to increase the quality of your scenes and your content. So that's Coach Reed. So just kind of in a quick summary, you're not going to be able to get Coach Reed at the top level, but as soon as you go into a session, or into a project book, then you have the writing coach available to you. See, and I can go in there and say, okay, just pick my scene, give me that feedback. Again, he's going to go in and he's going to analyze that and give me some feedback. I like Coach Reed because he helps our writing in more of a, I would say, a traditional coaching relationship type of manner. You see there. We got our new prompt. Looks like I've done a few sessions with him over the time, but this is the latest one, and I could continue working on that one. So that's what Coach Reed is there. Coach Reed is there. He's there to help you. Now, I'm going to actually log in to a different account, one that I know has a little bit more content in it. This one only has one story. To use Orion, or the manuscript intelligence coach, you need to have more content. So let me see if this one's got a little bit more. All right, so I've got a few scenes in here. You can see here I've got half a dozen scenes. So that's probably almost enough that it makes sense to start saying, let's look at our book as a whole. So when you use manuscript intelligence right here, then what it's going to do is it's going to say, let's create a theme for your overarching book. Let me look at everything. Now, I need to make sure I have my book set up. So if I look in here, I have used one of those templates we talked about, and I created the chapters, but what we can see here is none of them have any scenes in them. So I need to really quickly, just for the sake of our plan, I'm just going to put one scene per chapter. We'll pretend that, I wrote each chapter as a scene. It might be that there's one scene that has two stories in it. Okay, and that gives us a few in here, right? If I click preview, I can see I've got all of my scenes and my stories and my chapters, and it's all in here. So that looks pretty good. Well, what I want to do now, though, is I say, okay, I've got these chapters, I got my scenes in there. Oh, there's a few more. Let's just I really want to have more for it to chew on. And you can see here that once you put it in there, they disappear. It doesn't make sense to me that you would ever have the exact same story in the same book. But if you did, then you could duplicate it and have two scenes and then move them around. But right now, so now I have all my scenes in here. Now it makes sense for me to say, you know what? I want Orion to look at my overarching book. What's really going on here? And let me see what we got here. I can, to begin with, it's going to say, what is your claim? I'm probably going to change that word to theme. But what's your claim? What are you trying to what's your story about as a whole? And you can see here I can do it at a chapter too. I can say, you know what? I just want to analyze a chapter. But to begin with here, we're going to analyze the whole book as a whole. I'm going to say, oh, you know what? That's a good idea. I need a theme for this. I'm going to actually let the AI do all the hard work. So I just click suggest claims, and now it's looking at those stories and it's come up with a few different themes. What my early experiences taught me about finding joy in the ordinary. The journey from playful innocence to recognize the value of memories. How my childhood adventures shaped my understanding of creativity and family bonds. All right, so I'm going to use that one. So I click it. Obviously in here you can type anything you want. And then I'm going to save it. Now that I have kind of a target for my book, I can say, you know what, Orion, little owl Orion, why don't you go ahead and review this? And I can have it do a deep dive. I can have it do just a quick 30-second, like a quick overview, or I can actually go in here and I can say, you know what, I want you just to look at very specific aspects of my book, the narrative arc or structural balance, things like that. And so you can click just one and then hit that analysis. But what I'm going to do just for the sake of our class, I'm going to click the quick analysis or the quick lens. It's reviewing it. And just like Coach Reed did for a scene, it's going to look at the whole thing. But like any good professor, he's going to give us a grade. I've created these different categories, and it's going to look at those categories and tell me how well we're doing. So overall, he's pretty generous. I got a 75, but that's not going to get me an A in class. Claim, structure, all these different things. Now, with any of them, you're going to be like, well, what do you mean by that structure? I don't know what you mean by that. I can just click on this, and it's going to open up Orion, and I can now chat with Orion. And I'm going to say, tell me more about this and what I can do to improve. And then he's going to think about it, and he's talking about the structural balance, and then he's going to give me some feedback. And this is a way that we can really consult with him to be able to understand things that we can do better. Okay? So that's kind of a fun thing to do. The other thing is I'm going to have him give us some feedback. What is an issue or something that we can work on? And again, I don't want to overwhelm anyone, and so I've really limited them. I said, Ryan, just give them one or two things. And so it's going to say, here's a weak connection to the central claim. Some chapters do not clearly connect to the themes of creativity and family bonds. And we know that's true because I just took a bunch of random stories and threw them in there. Probably when you go through this in real life, you have more of a theme that really will come in. So I can work on this, or I can ask Orion about it. Once again, I can say, I see you'd like to discuss the weak connection. Some chapters do not. How can I help you address this? And then I can go ahead and talk about that. And then when I want to, I can go in back to my scenes and I can make some changes. Or if we're here, I can work on it. So if I work on it, then let's see, scroll up to see your active sessions, click get guidance for personalized coaching. Okay, so it's asking me to go in here and get some guidance. So I click on this guy and I'm working with Orion. And here again, he's giving me some ideas on things that I can do to make it better. So Orion, the owl Orion, he's got big eyes. He's like a little professor. He can help you with the overarching storyline of your book. So that's what we really wanted to dive into today. So what's your homework? Well, your homework is to pick one of the scenes and have Coach Reed give you some feedback. And then after you've created a few scenes, now for many of us, this is just day 3. We don't have that many scenes or stories. And just remember, the word scene and the word story, they're synonymous. They mean the same thing. Your stories. And then you can go in there and mess around with that. So, cool. Now, I just remembered there was one thing that we didn't cover from yesterday, and I want to cover that with you, and that's how you can upload or import content that you already have. And let me just stop the sharing for a second. I have noticed that in building this tool, there is a way or a process that makes sense to me. And that is I go in, I'm just randomly creating these stories, I'm having a place for it, and over time I'm getting clarity. I'm starting to realize, you know what? Okay, that's what this is about. And in doing that, it makes sense for me to use the lessons, to create the stories, the quick stories, and then those build out the scene library, and then from there I build out the book, and it kind of evolves. Oh, I'm sorry. But for some of you, you're going to be very precise. We have different personalities and different human designs. And so I would say, I want the tool to support every style. And so some of you are going to say, you know what, Brett, I kind of work the other way around. I want to go into the timeline and I want to make all those events and then go from there. Or some of you are going to say, I already mapped this out and I've got the chapter and I want to make the chapter. And it might be that we're going to work, in my mind, backwards. You're going to start with all that structure and then start filling in the stories, where for me, I'm more about just like getting some stories out and seeing what happens. I don't think there's a right or wrong. I think what it is that we be true to ourselves and we find a tool that meets us where we're at and can support us. And so understand that this tool is very flexible. You can do all kinds of different things with it. Some of you have already spent some time. You've got journals or you've got passages that you've written and you want to get those into this. So the next thing I want to show you that we didn't get to yesterday is how you can upload this stuff into the actual tool. So let me go ahead and share my screen again. Now what you can see here is that I'm in, let me just refresh this to make sure I'm in the same profile. Okay, let's go ahead and create a new book. We'll call this one Day 3, Demo 3. It's a LifeSketch, that's fine. And now when I go into this, so we've got a perfectly clean book. And you might say, okay, Brett, I already have a good idea for what it is that I want to do. And so you're going to start with the book builder. And you're going to create, you might manually create this, but I'm just going to do it quickly this way. You're going to create all of those chapters. And now you've got that spine or that structure to work from. And you can go in here and you can look at it and say, okay, writing instructions. All right, yep. And then right here, just click that little button and it's going to take you right into a quick story where you can start creating that story very quickly, very easily. But what if you want to get some content into, let's go back one more screen. What if you want to get some content into your book that you've already created? That's what source materials is all about. Source materials, you can access it there. You can also access it from the resources, their source materials. All this is saying is we've created a place for you to upload content so you have it ready to be used in scenes, to be used in your stories. So if I'm going to upload this, I'm just going to click upload. You can see that there's documents up to 10 megabytes, audio up to 25 megabytes, video up to 100. I'm probably going to remove the video. I think that the others are sufficient, and I might add it back in a little bit later, but for now it's there. But in the document, I can just literally just click this, and maybe my document is a picture, and it's not even a Word document. I've got some images right here. These are pictures I took of my journal pages from when I was about 10 years old. You can see right here they are. And I can just put, Brett's journal at 10. And I'm going to upload those. Now what it's going to do is it's going to look at those pictures and it's going to say, hey, I see some text there. Let's transcribe that text. And it's just going to do it automatically for you. So if you have a journal and it's hard copy and you're thinking, man, I do not want to type this in, I'm going to save you a ton of time. Get your phone, doesn't take anything special, just get your phone and take pictures of each of those pages and then you can upload them into the tool. You can see here, it takes a little bit of time for it to do it. It's processing, it's figuring out what all those words are. And here we go. Now I have each of these files in my book. Now what we're going to see here is that some of them, like this one, it misread the date. It said it thought it was the year 13 instead of 83. And I know this because I saw it earlier. But what you can do is when you're reading through this source material, you might say, oh, some of those things, I couldn't really tell what they were even talking about. You can always click the view original picture and it's going to show you, what the writing looked like from your picture. And you can see this is not a great picture. The OCR or the transcription is pretty powerful actually. But now that I have that in here, it's not in a scene. It's not in my book. It's kind of like I've just got it sitting on the bench waiting to come in and play. So what I need to do is I need to bring it into the actual book. So I'm going to say open and generate. And now when I open and generate this, okay, here it is. Here's my file. You can see all of the journal entries right here. This is the source file. So I'm going to say, well, let's get this into a scene where I can mess with it. Now I've got a couple of options. I can have the AI polish it up, clean it up, turn it into a story. But some of you are going to say, Brett, I don't want the AI touching this at all. I want this verbatim. There's an option right here that says copy direct. And it's going to copy that directly as it is. I actually like this one feature. I should probably make it first. But it is going to just bring it directly in. But it can extract the characters and extract the events and even look at the themes that are related to it. So I'm going to let it do all those things, and I'm going to say generate and save. Okay, and now I have a normal scene. Just as if you talk to the AI, you hit generate, now I have this scene. Now this scene makes no sense to me with that name, so I'm just going to call it, for now, Brett Journal June, and I know this 1983. I'm actually going to go in here, and I'm going to change that right now to 83. And I can see this, and I can see that there's some typos and there's some things that are wrong. So this is not Word. What you could do, if you want, is I could literally just copy all this, click copy, go to my Word document, click paste, clean it up, do whatever I want. It's just a really nice tool to transcribe your stuff, and then I can put it back in. But for now, this is fine. This is a great source document for me. It's a great scene. But this scene, again, is not in the fine tuning that I want it to be. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I can click Coach Read and have him analyze it, or I can just go back to this level where I've got it and I'm going to refine it. It's never been generated, so I can't regenerate it, but I am going to refine it. So it lets me talk here. So now I can have a conversation with Nikki about it. Hey, Nikki, this is when I was 10 years old. I want you to really write this in the perspective of a 10-year-old who's just excited about life, whatever I want to type in there. And then I regenerate it. So it looks like I do need to say at least one thing. So I'm going to say, this is my journal entry from when I was a kid. Please write this up in the style of a young adult novel with me, Brett, as the main protagonist, and have fun with it. And then I'm going to go ahead and click this, and I can generate this scene. So let me go ahead and click generate. And I'm just, for fun, normally I would say use nonfiction. Actually, we could do nonfiction. Create the new scene. And I'm going to say start fresh. And I probably could have put that guidance right here. But now I'm going to generate that scene. And now we've taken my journal from my 10 years old and quickly turned it into a story. It was the summer of 1983, and each morning the air was thick. Okay, so we've got it right there. So I'm going to read the full scene. We've got some pretty good stuff here. So, kind of got into the weeds there a little bit. From your source material, you've got these guys. Now, what you might find is you're going to say, you know what, Brett, I actually want multiple of these pages to be put together. I want them to all, like the story really takes up 2 pages or 3 pages. So what you can see here is there's a merge file option. So again, we're in the source materials. We've uploaded these pictures. They've transcribed it. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select 2 of them and I'm going to say merge. And so I'm just going to say merged journal pages 2 and 3. I mean, I don't know what they are. I would really go in, look at these, probably name them, make sure that this is going to be, I can actually order like which one comes first in the document. Oh, look, I'm going to merge them all. I'm not going to merge them all. I'm just going to merge 2 of them. Now, you can choose to remove the source files after you're merging, but I'm just going to leave them. And so I'm going to merge this. And now you can see here, I've got this merged file. And so now it actually includes the text from both of those pictures. So this is a way that you can get the full content you want. So now when I open and I generate this story, it's going to generate it using the words on both those pages. Okay. I never can go very quickly on these, and I apologize, but I hope that this has been really helpful for you. The other thing when it comes to your source files, you can upload audio. So if I want to go into audio, I can click audio. I do have a file that I uploaded right here. This file right here, I'll just play. You can listen to it for a minute.
Most people want to write their life story, but almost no one ever does. Not because there's...
I was messing around with some AI, having it speak for me, and I found a cool cowboy. That's what I was. But let's go ahead and say I want that text that he's talking about. I can just click this, click open, and then I'm going to rename it to Brett, or we'll just call it Live Sketch Sales Pitch 1. And then I'm going to click upload. Okay, now it takes it a minute to process it, right? Just like the AI, sometimes we got to be a little patient with them as they're chatting or as they're thinking about what to say. I think that's all going to get faster and faster. I think of AI as like the 8 tracks or the old original records, right? Running at super fast speeds versus high quality streaming. It's going to get better and better, and the gap's going to go away. And I'm hoping that we can really just improve this every time there's an opportunity, so it just feels like you're talking to a real human. But you can see right now, we've got the sales pitch. And I can open that up and take a look at it. Most people want to write their life story, but almost no one ever does. Not because their story isn't worth telling, but because structuring it, remember it, and actually write it feels overwhelming. LifeSketch changes that. Okay, so now I have that. I don't have a need for that in this memoir, but I wanted you to see how you can take an audio file and just have it transcribe it. And of course, the obvious thing is you can go in and you can just, upload any sort of regular document that you want as well. So if I have a document, let me just find something. So that's a picture. We don't want to do a picture. All right, so here's a story about a friend of mine named Garth. I'm just going to click this. It's a PDF. And here it is. Garth Lindsay, an example and true friend by Brett Allen. So here is an actual PDF. This tool is made to do everything. I want you to have a team of professional writers and editors and minions that can help you create your story and take away the pain and make it into a really fun and engaging process to capture your stories and get them out there. Okay, that's it. That's what we want to talk about. So what's the final thing? The final thing is this is the last day of our 3-day lab where you could check this stuff out. Everybody has at least 30 days. When you signed up, you get it for 30 days at no charge. What do you do next? Well, at some point, I'm going to start charging for this once I get all the bugs out and we get it ready to go. In the meantime, I would love to have a test user group. So basically, you guys continue in the relationship that we have. For those of you who would like to continue, actually, let me just, I'll just move this over here so you can see what I'm talking about. Maybe that's too big. All right. For those of you who would like to continue using this tool, I'm creating a private testers group. This will give you ongoing access to the tool. Here's how it works. If you will agree to actively use this tool and report any of the bugs that you find, or share with me the feedback, the suggestions that you have, and by that, what does it mean to actively use it? In my mind, that means you're going to log in at least 2 times a week and spend a little bit of time on this. I realize some weeks are busy, other times. My hope is that you'll just want to go in and really capture your stories, especially as the learning curve, you get over that. And then the other thing is I'm going to host a weekly group coaching session, where it'll be a little bit like these calls, where we'll get together. And the main thing, though, is for us to have an opportunity to talk about how it's going. My hope is that you'll use the Facebook group, this one right here. This is going to be basically our central communication for this, where I want you to go in there and say, Brett, I had this problem. Hey, when we get together this week for our coaching session, can you talk through X, Y, and Z? Or you might even just say, help me with this right now. Or you might say, hey, the rest of you, how did you solve this problem? And it's a way for us to be able to crowdsource all of the ideas and the thoughts and the problems and the concerns that you have. But in our weekly calls, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at that and I'm going to prepare a little bit of training. And it could be a link to something recorded, or it could be that we go through it live, and then we're going to have some discussions about what's working and what we can do better. And then the final thing is, as I was thinking about this, I really want to see who can create the first book. Who can finish the book first? And I'm in this race too. I want to finish my book. I'm working on one. But I think it'd be fun to have some kind of challenges and maybe a little bit of a contest for finishing some chapters or doing some innovative things. And we'll talk about that in that. Some of you guys have reading groups. You meet once a month with your friends, you pick a book, you read it, you hang out, you have some fun. This is kind of like that, but for writing. I would love to have you in this test user group using the tool to facilitate, speed up the ability for you to create your stories and get them out there, and we can meet on a regular basis. Right now, I do want to try to meet once a week. I know that many of you can't do that. If you could meet even twice a month, that would be fantastic to come into those sessions. And then if you miss them, find some time to watch those. And that'll all be in the Facebook group that you're already in to be able to see that content. So that's what we got going on. I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for spending some time with me this week, learning about this tool, trying it out. I hope, my genuine hope is to, what I've been trying to do is, yes, in the long run, I need to make a couple bucks out of this so I can keep pouring money into it and make it successful. But above that, the real vision of this was, man, how cool would it be if we could take this new AI technology and really harness it in such a way that we could reduce the resistance and the fear and the frustration and the lack of organization. So all we have to do is find a way to just talk our stories. And then with a little bit of work, we can shape that into really great narratives. So many of you guys have great stories to share. I want to read them. I know your grandchildren want to read them. Their grandchildren should read them. Honestly, think about how terrible your family tree is for providing good historical narratives. Honestly, by doing this, you get to become the hero in your family tree because few others will have ever written anything so prolific. That would be fun. That hits my ego a little bit. I got a little bit of ego. But anyways, I hope that you have fun with this, and I will talk to you guys later. I am going to send out a follow-up email probably tomorrow or the next day that provides information about letting you really declare, yes, I want to be a part of this testing group, and it'll have all the official details for that. There's no charge for it. Literally, it's the least I can do for to give you continued access in exchange for this conversation. So thank you.